Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining me today on the Divine Messages podcast. My name is Karina, and I am a psychic medium and Reiki master from Calgary, Alberta. Today, I wanted to do an episode on forgiveness. This topic came up months ago when we were discussing potential episodes, but to be honest, I wasn't ready to create an episode on this topic for many reasons. First of all, I am no expert at it when it comes to forgiveness, but I do feel it's important that I share my journey and why I am now choosing to talk about it. I've had many people deeply hurt me, not only physically, but mentally. And this is very difficult to say, but the people who hurt me the most are my parents. It has been approximately 12 years since I've spoken to either of them, and I know this sounds a little bit harsh, but I do have my reasons. For many years, I was ridden with anger, hurt, and deep sadness. I only started my journey of forgiving them about 6 years ago. So in 2014, I took my Reiki Master course. I believe there's probably about 15 people in that class. And part of becoming a Reiki Master involves what we call an attunement. It's a process that connects us to the divine energy. And during this attunement, you're in a really meditative state. And each person experiences very different things during it. But for me, my spirit guides came in and literally took me on a journey of both my mother and father's lives. I saw each of their childhoods and their struggles and everything that they had endured as children. You know, they both had very difficult lives, and the entire time that this attunement was taking place in this meditation, I was sobbing the entire time. And during this, I started to feel a deep level of compassion for them that I'm not even sure I can explain to anyone. And when the attunement was over, I opened my eyes and sat there trying to process what I had just seen. It was honestly really emotional for me to see my parents in a different light. I had always heard little tidbits about them having difficult childhoods, but to be shown their journeys and see the real truth made me actually feel really sorry for them. And this is why I started the process of forgiving them. Now, I do say process because forgiveness to me is like an onion. It takes a lot of time to peel off the layers. I wish that I could sit here and tell you all that forgiving someone is super easy and that it's a one-time deal, but it isn't. It takes time, practice, and a conscious effort. Sometimes you may actually feel that you have forgiven someone, but then something triggers you, and all of a sudden you've just taken 10 steps backwards. I know this for sure because this has happened to me numerous times. Every time I've thought that I've forgiven someone, or especially them, something happens, it triggers me again, and I'm back to square one of feeling the same deep pain. A couple of months ago, what happened to me was I was actually I thought that I had actually forgiven them, and one of them reappeared into my life in a non-direct way. And once again, I was stuck with this heaviness, this sadness, this resentment, this hurt. It all kind of came flooding back, and I thought, geez, I thought I had worked through this. But again, like I said, it's an onion, so there's layers and layers that we have to peel off. And when this trigger happened, it was actually during the time that I was talking about and writing about forgiveness. And I had to put everything on hold because I thought, I'm just not ready to go there. I don't even know if I can explain to all of you how to forgive someone when I was in that moment of struggling once again. And so fast forward to today, and I actually do feel today that I'm settled enough and strong enough to want to help or try to help you all. I want to at least be able to share the tools that I've used that have helped me on this journey. So like I said, nothing's perfect and I'm still continuously working on it, but I want to share those tools so that you can at least start your journeys to forgiving others today. And you know what? People ask me this all the time. A lot of friends, a lot of clients, people say, Why should I forgive someone who's caused me pain? And the best answer that I have for them is this: forgiveness is not about letting someone off the hook for their actions. Forgiving them releases us from the negative energy that binds us to them. So it's not condoning their actions in any way, but it is an act of self love that allows us to feel peace in our hearts, not theirs, but in ours. So I always say the pain hurts us and not them. We are the ones that suffer. And forgiveness is like the magical key that we have, that we can unlock these boxes of pain that are stuck within us. It's for us. So now let me tell you some of the tools that I have used over the years to free myself and that I'm still continuing to use. Number one, write the person that has hurt you the most in this life a letter. You can address it to them. Explain every single detail of how they hurt you, down to the tiniest thing to the largest thing. You need to pour your entire heart out, everything that you have basically bottled up inside of you that's hurting. Let it all out in this letter. Write every possible thing you can out to this person. But the key is here: you do not need to give them this letter. You actually take the letter and you go off of your property somewhere. I usually like to say to people to go to a river where there's moving water, or somewhere in nature where it feels really peaceful. And what you do is you actually burn it. And as you are watching it burn, you're asking the universe to release you from all that pain, all that hurt, or any negative emotions that are related to the person. And then you want to thank the universe for freeing your soul from them. So it's almost breaking a karmic tie that you have connected to this person. And symbolically burning it, and actually burning it, is really releasing it to the universe to let this stuff go. Let that pain go. Let that person go from your life. And it almost helps that they don't have power over you anymore. So this is a tip that I love to use, and I know that I've used it for myself. I've actually told many clients about using this tip, and it really does work. And even if you've got to do it multiple times, keep writing and burning it, and just until you feel that peace. So number two, now this one I always have trouble saying, and it's the Hawaiian prayer, the Ho'oponopono. It's a Hawaiian prayer that means making it right. It's like a spiritual cleanser. It clears out the negative energy and removes any bad feelings that you have towards yourself or towards others. So it's only 4 lines. It's very simple, yet it's so powerful. So what you need to do is state the person's name, or yourself if that's who you need to forgive, or the situation. And all you say is this: I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. And I know a lot of people struggle with that one. How do I forgive someone and ask them actually for forgiveness and tell them I'm sorry when I didn't do anything? I get that. It does sound crazy. But this prayer is karmically releases your soul from that entanglement you have with another. And if you have harmed them in a past life, or you've hurt them in another life, and this life they ended up hurting you, whatever the case is, it just releases your soul from the other and all that negativity. So I know it's difficult, but try it. Just see how it feels. And I say to people, even if every day you woke up and you say that prayer to that particular person or people, do it every single day until you feel a little bit of peace in your heart. And trust me, it does work. It does take effort. It is a conscious choice to say, I'm going to do this prayer and try to help myself. But if you do it with intent, it really does work. So try that. Number 3 is, and this is really, really important, forgive yourself. We are so harsh to ourselves and we beat ourselves up daily for the things that we wish we didn't do, things we wish we didn't say, people that we've, that have gotten, that we've allowed into our lives that have hurt us, we end up holding on to that and beating ourselves up because we allowed them to hurt us. But here's the thing. We need to learn to forgive ourselves and let all of that go, because we can't go back and change the past. I say this all the time. We cannot go back and change our past. We can only live in the present moment. And in that present moment, we have to make a conscious choice to be happy. And what the most important thing is to do is to choose to take the lesson from what you learned. So yes, it might have been a lesson that sucked or was terrible, but you've got to remember, what did I learn from that? Did it make me stronger? Did it make me want to do things differently in my life? These are questions you need to ask yourself. What did you learn from that experience? Forgive yourself. Let it go. The past we cannot change. We can't even control the future. All we have is the present moment. So if you work through forgiving yourself, I think that's where everything starts. Forgive yourself first, then forgive the others. And I think that might be the best thing to start with if you can. I also want to say this. Remember that forgiveness is a process, and we must all do it at our own pace. So people are going to try to tell you, well, you should forgive someone for this or that. Honestly, you've got to start doing this at your own pace, whatever works for you. Nobody can dictate how you're supposed to feel or how you're supposed to deal with anything in your life, because their perspective on it or their experience is going to be different than yours. So you've got to remember that this is all at your own pace. And think of it this way too. Every single time, it's like peeling back another layer, and you have to forgive over and over and over again. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's like that onion. Just keep on going. Just don't stop. So I hope this episode today, I hope that it really helps you to at least just start your journey of forgiving who you need to, or forgiving yourself. Again, it's never going to be easy, and it is work, but it's necessary. And it's necessary for us so that we can be the ones who sleep at night. The people who have hurt us, I've always say this too, they sleep well at night. We're the ones suffering. We're the ones in pain. This forgiveness is so that we can be free from that energy, that power over us, and that we can sleep at night and have peace in our hearts. So I want to thank you all today for tuning in to the Divine Messages podcast. Stay tuned for new episodes every Friday. Please bear in mind that the perspectives and opinions represented in this podcast are based solely on the Divine Messages interpretations. We can in no way be held responsible for the actions of our followers.